I can feel good that we're probably going to get through this week. I'm really worried about whether we can pitch 7 guys every 5 innings next series, and if we're going to be able to hit 12 home runs a game to beat the hash rate next week. So I'll just be happy this week. You guys won't be able to talk to me next week.
How you feel so far?
So far, I feel really good. I told our team every day that we're able to put together another really good practice, it's an opportunity to separate ourselves from the pack. Because what you find is September 24th or whenever everybody can start practice, there are roughly 320 teams who have really good practices. The other 35 have no chance already, all right? But every day as you go along, there are less teams having really good practices. So one of our goals is to be consistently one of those teams that as we go through the year have really good practices, and we think it'll translate to some success during the season.
I realize you can't talk about recruiting, but you are getting close. Signing day's coming up. How do you balance, you and your staff, how do you balance your time now? Because you want to put all the energy into the preseason, getting ready, but you also want to put the energy into getting that recruiting class finished.
Absolutely. I'm really thankful that when I arrived here, the airport right here in town was opening for commercial service. There's a flight leaving here at 6:18. I'll be on it tonight after practice. So that's how you find balance. You do it all as often as you can. Just try to be diligent with it. You know, we're really close to the finish line with some guys that we've been on for quite some time, and now it's not the time to let go of the rope or to start getting too focused on something that's also really important but lose sight of the other part.
You've had him here since June, but how have you seen the new guys progress now that you guys are fully into practice?
Well, they're starting to understand the language we talk. They're starting to understand the strengths and weaknesses of their teammates. For most of our freshmen, they were the best player on every team they've ever played on until now. Not that they're not one of the best, but there are other really good players out there that can help them have success. So striking that balance between trying to feel like they should try to make all the plays with the fact that there are times that they need to still be aggressive. And now the next part is them speaking our language, because they don't do that yet. They understand it, they've heard it enough, but they don't yet speak our language. So that's the next step for them.
You've had guys had to put on weight. You've had guys like Chris had to drop weight. How have you seen them progress through their workouts?
It's been really good. A lot of the credit there goes to Jake Management and strength conditioning program, along with Kevin Blasky, our athletic trainer, talks to him about the supplementation. But you know, a personal plug, my wife is the nutritionist here as well, so she helps them try to understand just what it's going to take to get through the season. She was a college athlete herself, so she has a different kind of perspective on what it looks like. Also, with the scientific background of having a degree in nutrition, she can help those guys figure out how to manage that weight gain or loss, whatever is necessary for them.
Chris, you know, he talked about how much he loves Whataburger, and he talked about how his diet has changed so much. So for him to, you know, that's not easy for somebody that young. What does that say about just his focus to dial in and sell out on what you guys are trying to do?
That just shows you his commitment level. I'm sure he still really likes Whataburger. I think he loves basketball a little bit more. His commitment to our program, to making himself the best possible player he can from a physical standpoint, to give us a chance to have success, which again shows some maturity on his part. Some guys would fight that a little bit longer than he has, but eventually they all come around, because I was telling one of them just a few minutes ago, the seats next to me are really comfortable for a reason, and most of them don't want to sit next to me during game. So.
What was it like just seeing Chris come in? I mean, were you pretty aware right off of the transformation he needed to make?
Yeah, I've known Chris since he was a freshman in high school, and watched his evolution as a basketball player, but also watched him battle, you know, the conditioning aspect of things. So it was one of the first conversations we had when we re-engaged the recruiting process with him about being able to come in and take the bulls by the horn and run with it in terms of getting some of that. Some of it just comes off pretty naturally when you start conditioning and training every day like you do here, but then making the conscious choices in what you decide to eat. It's got to be a vital part to it. So I was excited that he had the right makeup, and he was really committed to just doing whatever it would take to have success. But also knowing his background and how much basketball matters to him, I wasn't concerned that he would be able to do it.
You're starting to see guys, particularly the younger guys, that are going to be able to contribute pretty early.
Yeah, I would say I'd point out Avery as somebody who's had a consistent impact on practice. This is practice number 10 officially for us today. He's been pretty consistent in terms of impact. Now, He still's got to slow down a little bit. The game's going to slow down for him. But he's been really good on both ends of the court. The others have been good, just not as consistently as he was. I would liken it to last year at this time, Yor was more inconsistent than Ice was. They both wound up having really, really strong impacts on our team.
How has Cannon adjusted to his first couple of practices as an assistant?
He's been really good. I mean, he's kind of got a reserved personality, but he is really, really bright. He understands the game. He's got a great feel for what big guys need in terms of development. But also, he's still young enough he can get out there and show them some things, so that helps also with credibility.
Coach, Chris said someone told him that he was too big on official visit. That you probably told me.
Absolutely, yeah. But that was probably my fault. We took him to, I think we took him to Eskimo Joe's and loaded him up with some bacon cheese fries. Probably the first thing he did when he got here. So I was kind of talking out both sides of my mouth, so to speak. The challenge is I can afford to eat some of that stuff, knowing my wife's going to make me run when I get home, and I don't have to go out there and try to compete against the likes of the people on our schedule. But again, I just like to try to challenge these guys to attack some of their weaknesses, to get outside their comfort zone, to make themselves better, and ultimately to make themselves a big part of our team from a success standpoint.
How nice is this not be in the practices usually like the last year at times?
Yeah, it's I can kind of pick and choose my spots a little bit. Last week was the first week that I got out there and actually was dressed for practice. I don't think the new guys kind of expected it, but you get their attention pretty quick when you're showing that there's still a time where I can turn on the jets. It does take a little bit longer for me to recover, I'll be honest. I'll go home and my wife's like, "What's wrong with you? You never just sit down when you get home." I'm like, "Well, I decided against better judgment to get out there and practice for a few drills today, and so it's still fun for me."
You got short time
Ice
today.
baths. Ice baths.
Ice baths add time to your career. I should have learned that a long time ago, but I do take advantage of them now.
Not much sympathy from the wife, probably.
Definitely not. Less sympathy from Ace and Zoe, because they really don't care how I feel.
How are you guys adjusting the three-point line?
It's been fine for us. I think we've got a pretty good shooting team overall. We've got a lot of guys who are capable. Again, the lights got to come on, and some people have to come in to see if guys will make them on game night. But I feel very comfortable with our ability to make shots.
Is it the blue boxes are for that?
Just more. Those are more for spacing purposes from an offensive standpoint.
What's it been like to see how D and JK have embraced another opportunity with this team after joining midway through the year last year?
Yeah, I talked to those guys at the end of last year. Obviously, there was no expectations that they would be back when they first started with us, but they worked to earn the respect of their teammates and our staff, and I wanted them to know if they wanted to come back, they were welcome to. They both sacrificed their summers to stay around and train with us all summer, and I think it's showing up that they're still some of the guys that are ahead of the curve in terms of having to learn things, in terms of the process that we go about offense and defense, but also they compete really hard on both ends of the court, which always commands the respect of your teammates.